Hey guys, it's me, George, back with a new episode of D-Run Comics. Today, I'm going to go over all my new comic book day pickups, give you some spoiler-filled reviews of a few of the ones that I've read, cover a couple of the books that I passed on, and I will give you a glimpse into the future, as in what I'm doing later on this week with another one of our YouTube friends. So stay tuned after the intro to see what I got. Alright guys, we're going to jump right into the reviews here. I'm going to start with Superman number 9. For those of you that don't know anything about what's going on with Superman right now, you're a little behind. I'd say about 3 years ago, in real life time, like human being time, he got a son, name is Jonathan Kent. That was pretty big, focus of the whole Rebirth run. He was a father. I really enjoyed that storyline. Brian Michael Bendis then jumped onto the book, and now Jor-El is alive, and Jor-El, bursts into his living room one day. He's like, "Hey, I'm taking the boy. We're going out to space. It's gonna be great. Don't worry about it." And Superman was like, I don't see what could hurt." So they did that, and just recently, I'd say probably 2 issues back, Jonathan Kent, who is Superman's son, Superboy, comes back to Earth, and he's just aged by like 6 years. So he went from being 11 to 17. Obviously, Superman is not thrilled about that, and this story arc is kind of covering what happened with all those years. Where did all that time go? And in the last issue, it really touched on the fact that he then winds up on Earth 3, and he's facing off with the crime syndicate, which is insane. So I have the book. You've been looking at it here. Anyways, so he's, Ultraman throws him into a volcano prison, and Superboy's losing his powers a bit, which is unfortunate for him. And he kind of learns that Ultraman, who is like the evil version of Superman in this world, is he's screwed up in the head. He does a lot of crying, and does a lot of he's one of them people that repeats the same story over and over again, and every time he tells a story it changes a little bit, so you can tell it's not always the truth. I'm sure we all know a person like that in our life, but anyway, he's actually complaining about it. He's like, "This dude's kind of pathetic." But it's a cool issue. You're really unraveling where he's been. And, obviously Superman and Lois are both just furious about the fact that, Jor-El took their son out to, space to show him what the universe has to offer. And he comes back to Earth missing 6 years of time, and, and leaving him in really dangerous, precarious situations, which is, I've spent, a weekend with my grandpa before, and we fished and whatnot and had a good time. So that's not quite what Superboy got, and that's what happens when you're in comic book world. So I'm digging the story so far, but you know what? I like the Man of Steel story that Brian Michael Bendis wrote, but the ending sucked. I liked the first couple issues of the Superman run that Brian Bendis was on, but the ending sucked. And for me, the journey is great, but the conclusion is what it needs to land. It needs to stick. And the stories that were happening before Brian Bendis took over the book, they were landing. It was good. It was a good read all the way through. I reread them still, and I don't see myself wanting to reread anything that Bendis has put out yet. Hopefully, this story continues to be good. It has been good so far, and hopefully the ending is good and satisfying. You need some sort of conclusion, even though, conclusion in comic book world is never really final. But anyways, so far I'm liking it. I don't say you have to run out and grab it just yet, because you'll hear it from me. If the ending sucks, you can just skip it, because it ain't even worth the time then. So, all right, I picked up this one. That'll lead me to the first book that I did not pick up this week, and that is cover B of this book, which is another one of the Rob Liefeld DC variant covers that have been coming out recently, and that, to me, that's just weird. I like Rob Liefeld, and I actually don't hate his art. I know a lot of people, knock him and whatnot, but this cover right here is not good. It's terrible, in fact. And I went with the cover A because it matches with the story, and cover B was a no. Look at his fist. Look at his stupid fist. His pecs are all off. His shoulders look stupid. It just, the whole thing, like, people just laugh when they look at that, and I hope that's not intentional. So, if I were to draw something, I wouldn't want people to laugh because it looked bad, and this looks bad. So I skipped on that. I didn't skip on the last one. The last one, I don't think it looked great either. You can see what that looks like right there. But you know what? There was still novelty, in my opinion, of saying like, "Whoa, Liefeld drew Superman. That's nuts." But yeah, I'm not going to continue on with that. So there's that. All right, now here is my first cover shop of the week, and it is Supergirl number 28. You got that Art Germ variant. Not his best work, but I do like Supergirl. And I like Art Germ, so I picked it up. It's pretty cool. I don't know the physics on how you would like land wearing that skirt, because that skirt, would want to come. Anyways, I'll let her figure that out. That's none of my business. I just know that that would be weird. Not that I wouldn't want to look, but out of respect, you'd have to turn away when she like started hovering down towards the ground. So, anyways, I went on a little bit too long about that. Next book I got was The Flash number 66. I went with cover A here. In issue 65, it was a conclusion to the storyline of the price, where the price you pay for being a superhero, and it left off with Barry and Iris not being on solid ground. They're having some relationship problems, and it directly ties into the lifestyle that Barry Allen has chosen. This does not leave off with that at all. It starts a new story. It's really trying to talk about the trickster, and I guess they're going to do a story arc with him, which is fine with me. Right here it says cut down by the trickster, but they don't really face off in this except for in a couple of flashbacks. And this whole book is a flashback of the trickster's life, and that he's a tricky fellow. And I could have passed on that one. Speaking of passing on it, I don't even know why I bought the damn thing. This is the worst cover of the week, and I shouldn't have given him my money, but the comic shop that I go to slipped this one into my pull, and I didn't have the heart to take it out. So yeah, here it is. Boom. You can really look at that face. I'll zoom in on it for you guys. That is bad news. I don't know if that's obviously it looks like it's meant to be abstract. I don't know why it says zoom in the background. There is no zoom in this book at all. But yeah, I'll pick up the next issue of The Flash, number 67. Hopefully that gets good. They got the little trickster intro thing out of the way, and they can get into a good storyline here. But that was I didn't need to read that one. All right. Last cover shop of the week. Got another Art Germ. This one I thought was really, really good. Catwoman is, she's hanging from the ceiling a little bit, and, she could rob my house any day. All right. Enough said there. We'll go with another book that I passed on, and, I was really close. I was going to pick her up, but Marvel's annotated. I think I said that right. I'm kind of proud of myself. It's a beautiful Alex Ross cover. It's one of my all-time favorites. But I already have the original, and this is like a virgin variant of it. But I don't know. I kind of like this plastic see-through thing. That I'll just show you. Boom. I have a virgin cover variant of it already. So I don't need to buy another version of it. I already have one. I got this at a really good price from my LCS. So yeah, I already had it, so I didn't pick up the new one. The next one, I had the Uncanny X-Men Winter's End. And you can see here, I picked up the regular cover for this one. And looks like a lot of stuff going on here, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's get another X-Men story going, I guess. I will not pick up if this is more than a one shot. I will not be picking up the next issue because all the stuff happening on the cover here, none of this is happening in the book except for Iceman facing off against Ice Master, which is a version of Iceman from the future. It's like, he's just a lot older, and I don't know. It was a very dull story, and I like Iceman just fine, but I don't, there is an Iceman comic book, or at least there was just recently, and tell Iceman stories there, and if he's in the X-Men book, that's perfect. I love that, but just a full-on Iceman story that, I don't know. You can pass on it if you're valuing my opinion. You don't need to pick that one up. One that I do recommend that you pick up is The Grim Knight. Pick this one up. It's The Batman Who Laughs, The Grim Knight. It is, really just much better. All right. So it's a telling of the Grim Knight and how he became, a Batman, like merged with the Punisher. And so once again, we're going into spoilers on this one. It really, I'll show a couple images up here. It shows that, Bruce Wayne walking through the alley with his parents as a kid. Joe Chill comes out and shoots his parents, whatever. We're used to that part of the story. But then the dude trips and he drops the gun, and then he starts looking for the pearls or whatever, and Bruce Wayne picks up the gun, and this dude's like, "Oh, scram, kid." And Bruce Wayne shoots him right through the hand, and it kills him though, like, because through the hand and then through the chest. It got him good, and it showed why the Grim Knight. He actually doesn't like James Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. He does not like him at all. Commissioner Gordon in that universe, in the Grim Knight universe, actually took down this Batman. He did his research and found out who he is and went after him and just kind of kicked his ass a little bit even. And this Batman has different training. So he's still well versed in, but he went to learn how to fight from, soldiers of fortune and assassins, and instead of learning all the karate and whatnot. And Jim Gordon was able to kick his ass in a fight and arrested him. They did show a really cool contrast though. They harkened back to a couple of scenes from Batman Year One. There's that scene where he's just sitting there, kind of reflecting on life, and all of a sudden a bat flies through the window, and then he just picks up a gun and shoots the bat. You can see that. The bat, boom, bat is dead. The next scene, it shows the scene where he breaks into the crime boss, dinner party or whatever, and instead of, just, telling him like, hey, your days are numbered and be afraid of me now, he just kills them all, which is, that's what this guy would do. So, really, really cool story. And then, it tells you, this is, I don't ever do my research on this. I don't know why. But believing it's a one shot, it tells you to be concluded or to be continued in the Batman Who Laughs issue number 4. So that's the next issue in this story. But I'm really glad I got this one. This is a really cool read. A warning for collectors. This book, the cover really, really picks up fingerprints. Really good. They're hard to get off. So if you're gonna read this one and you want to slab it or something, or you're just really worried about dirtying up your book, this is one where you may want to give it some white glove treatment if if you have comic book reading gloves laying around. I do not, and I read this one and I was like, oh hell, and I'm trying to wipe it off and just smeared. And I'm like, oh, well, I wasn't going to slab this one anyways, but thought I'd give you guys the warning on that. It does pick up fingerprints really well, so definitely pick that one up. My favorite version of this cover so far, we got this guy right here. This is the B cover. I believe this is the Del Otto variant, and it's just fantastic. You're really seeing Batman just guns, and that's really cool imagery on that. And then I am heading to a comic book convention at the end of this month, Planet Comic Con. I'll be there with our boy Burke Nasty 54. If you haven't checked out his channel, gotta give him a watch. He's a good dude. Anyways, we're gonna be there, so no one that works on this book is there, but I'll see if I can get someone to put something cool on here. I think that would be a cool one to get a sketch on. So, guys, that's really all I got for today's episode. I've been sick recently, so it's kind of been difficult to make these videos, and then I'm starting to feel a little bit better now. But now the wife is sick, so I've been having to take care of her. Just like she was taking care of me though when I was sick. That's what you do. But this upcoming weekend, me and Burke Nasty, I just said we're going to be going to a Comic-Con together. So we're going to go through our list of things that we want to accomplish at this con this weekend. We'll do like a live stream of that. Which creators we want to meet, what books are on our list, and whatnot. And we're even working on a special guest for that episode as well. So stay tuned for that. That should be coming out at some point this Sunday. If I get a better time hammered out, I'll be sure to notify JB over at Discovery Bay, and maybe I can make his little lineup video, which is just super cool, by the way. Check his channel out. Subscribe to him if you haven't. Discovery Bay Comics, really, really good dude. But guys, that's really all I got. Thanks for watching. I don't have anything witty to say for the end of this video, so stay tuned for the next one.